Rock, scissors, paper.
Rock, scissors, paper. Rock, scissors, paper. Hey guys, welcome to the Convo couch. Today we've got Wassim Hawat, actor, producer and stuntman. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. You know, when I went to school, I had teachers telling me it's not for you and, you know.
Oh, right, really?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to mention names, but like, it's like hearing that, it's like, wow, that's all I wanted to do. And then you hear that.
Yeah.
You get really, but I've always been kind of a strong person. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to listen. I never listen to anyone. So I go, no, I believe in myself. I'm still brand new. I'm still discovering myself. So yeah, I mean, when you're brand new, you're not going to perform a mad scene, an amazing scene. So yeah, so I struggled, and then yeah, a lot of teachers go, this is, you know, we're trying to say this in a nice way. When I heard that, I was like traumatized.
Was that from a drama teacher at like high school or like an acting school?
No, acting school.
Wow.
Yeah, so when a teacher tells you that, you go, oh wow, you know. Yeah. I've even had agents, like when I first got my first agent, and it was like a mission. And finally I got an agent, and then after that I wasn't getting work. Like I'm talking about a year.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh wow, something's wrong with me. Like, and you know, you have these negative thoughts.
Yeah.
But as I said, I didn't know how to approach. I didn't understand the industry very well. Like right now, I understand it. To tell you the truth, like you have to be going into something. You got to go into 110%, and I did that. You got to be passionate, and you really got to know that this is for you. If acting's not for you, like it's
hard.
You know how it is. I've gone through mountains.
And you're now looking to go more behind the scenes work into producing and writing and creating your own film?
So I thought, okay, I want to tackle this from another point of view. Doing two things, creating stories and giving myself a job.
Yeah.
So yeah, creating your own content. So ideally, I want to produce an act in my own, and the stories that tickles me. That's like, oh wow, I've always wanted to produce a crime thriller. I've always wanted to do a romantic comedy. I thought, why not? Why leave my destiny in other people's hands and just audition?
I think you started creating some of your own work as well, and I saw some posters like there was one about John with multiple personalities.
Yeah, so that's my first short film. So I wrote it, I produced it, executive produced it, and got involved in directing. Why I'm interested in villains is because I'd love to know how their brain works. Why do they want to destroy the world? There's always that deep layer. Why? You know, someone must have triggered him. Maybe it's, you know, traumatized from school. Maybe he was bullied. I love going into that and, you know, creating
the backstory.
That's incredibly fulfilling. Especially like I'm talking about villains. Every day, me and you and we all live in a kind of bit of a fairy tale. Like how many times you've been at work and you just wandered off. So he's a salesman, but he thinks he's a hero. So he doesn't go to work every day. He thinks he's like a James Bond and he wants to save the world. So in his world, it's a movie. He's like picturing his James Bond. So the way we're filming is pretty cool because there's some scenes where how he sees himself, a POV, and how the audience see him. So how the audience sees him is just a guy wearing glasses, you know, suit. But the way he sees himself, so we have another shot, he's in his suit and he looks good and kicking ass. So that's his vision of himself, and then there's the audience's vision. Okay. So we've broken that up. Yeah.
Wow. So
I thought it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is a really good concept, and like it's quite a tough topic to, I guess, tackle on your very first film.
It is. It is. I go straight to the deep end. I'm obsessed with movies like Heat.
Yep.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Donnie Brasco, Point Break with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, and The Town. I love those movies. Those movies inspire me, so I don't want to copy them. I hope I can make 20% of that kind of quality content with my own ideas. Months of percolating and just writing stuff. And as I said, I'm not a writer, but I always come up with really good ideas. And I finally finished the treatment, and I'm very happy with it. I'm looking now for a writer or a producer that I can work with, develop it into a script, and then after that, you know, pitch it to production companies and just get proper funding and make it. Heroes, I find they're just one-dimensional characters. I'm not trying to take away from him, but the guy has to save the day. villains are very complicated. You don't know what to expect. From the hero, you know what to expect.
I wonder if
to me.
anyone's ever explored the villain's journey. I
I
mean,
have.
everyone's talked about, the hero's journey and like getting from point
Yeah,
A to point B.
exactly. So mine is the opposite. To me, it's obvious, and definitely I'm interested and I like it. But it's the villain. For me, I love asking a lot of questions. And I ask a lot of questions like, why is he doing that? What happened to him? There's always a trigger. I'm seeing changes now because when I first started, in acting, it was blonde hair, blue eyes kind of thing, and it's frustrating for an actor. But now, like, Australia has changed. You watch, movies, TV that that are Australian, and you see a lot of different stuff. You see commercials, you're like, oh, cool. But ideally, if you look at Australia, it's very multicultural, so it should be reflected on, TV, film, commercials, like America. So America is very diverse casting and all that stuff. If I ever make a feature film, or I will, definitely would be diverse casting. Yeah, that's a very good question. Very tricky. It depends on the genre you tackle, I think, in my opinion. And from the genre, you know what kind of characters, what kind of world you created. If you're making a film like in the outback, obviously it's going to be all, Caucasian. But if you're making let's just say my one, a crime thriller in Sydney, I want to make it. That would be a lot of interesting characters. Heist, there's always these 4 people, and they're 4 interesting people. So, and it could be anyone. So I always, in my one, like, I've created a female with a backstory. There's always the old quirky guy. And then you got like maybe someone, the muscle. And then maybe you got someone who's the nerd. And to me, they could be anyone. It could be one Asian, could be Indian, could be Arab, it could be whoever. So it's really up to the director. And that's where it comes back to you. Like, I don't think it affects the creative process because you're creating that. And it's all people. Like, Asians have a backstory, Arabs have an interesting story. Everyone has a story. Everyone in the street is a walking, I call them a movie. I'm big on diverse casting because the more diverse casting you have, interesting characters, you're tapping into so many worlds. Look, I see a lot of changes, like, but especially like say Saudi, if you live in Saudi and you watch their film and TV, it's all Arabs because that's their culture and whatever. And that's, I don't know, I don't think it's great because some of them just want to stick to that, you know what I mean? But like you've got America who's diverse, Australia now is becoming diverse, Europe, but there's some countries like just take longer than others. And in my opinion, it should change, you know what I mean? Like, I've been to Dubai, and when you go to Dubai, it's so many, people out there. So, and in Dubai, like, again, same thing, the stories are all like based on that particular culture. Like, why doesn't it explore more? But again, every producer, every creative artist from that country wants to tell a particular story. So when I was a little kid, I did a bit of karate. Then I got into boxing, kickboxing, did a bit of Muay Thai, Krav Maga, and then recently Wing Chun.
Okay.
But I'm not an expert. Action films where you see one-on-one combat, when it's like block, it's obviously all choreographed. It's like a dance. That's the stuff I'm interested in. That's the stuff I like doing. But I'm not into like, backflips and the fancy stuff. No, it's more the Jason Statham where it's punch, block, and he looks good.
Yeah.
The kicks. That's the stuff I can do. I can handle. Yeah.
Okay.
For example, in my current one, there's a few fight scenes, and I love choreographing like a fight scene. It's exhilarating, and I love stunts. So, yeah, if I haven't done martial arts or anything, that wouldn't be possible. I would have to go to another person, which is still fine. But I like to be in control of that. Like I want to have an idea of how this character fights. And there's particularly a big scene where the robbers take over the bank and then they run away and there's a massive shootout. I love stuff like that. Like similar to The Town in a way. But I watched a documentary how they filmed that particular scene. So then I had images. I'm like, this is cool. So I will take some of that and then use it to my one.
I think you need to be a little bit more forward.
More forward?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
Okay, and action.
Oh.
Nice.
That was good.